Welcome back to What Arty Noobs for General Disturbance. This is the GWE100, the Tier 10 German SPG, located on the north spawn of Malinovka. This one is under the command of randyxx777 of the War Clan, and we haven't seen him for a while because he's been busy. Game on. 21 centimeter howitzer. It's capable of 900 alpha, penetrating through 53 millimeters of armor and 11.4 meters on the burst radius with 12.5 to 31 seconds of stun. Now it is a tier 10 Arty, so it's up against tier 10 opponents, and that might make it a little difficult to penetrate their armor unless he gets an easy one like a Heshpan, Gorilla 15, or maybe a Striv 103B. Okay, he's ready to go. Enemy tanks in sight. And rounds out. Well, that seemed to land directly between the enemy. And we've just seen some what looks like enemy fire coming in on our M48 pattern. Now, this is an Arty that never existed, as you know, because they actually only completed one hull for the GWE, not the GW, but the E100, and it was never going to be made into an Arty at that stage because basically the contract was cancelled. Oh, look at this, an FB215B. It's the heavy tank version, not the tank destroyer, not the Death Star. Changing position already because the enemy is actually trying to counter battery. It looks like they got the position wrong for the shot on the back chap. We're now looking at that FB215B now. And as many of you know now, obviously this was one of the design projects that was very similar to the FB4005. That they were actually trying out various ways of taking down the Soviet tanks, especially the IS-3. Mounting a very big gun on top of a British tank. Of course, the FB215B actually had a 120mm gun, not the 183mm. Lining up. Okay, they're all coming together at the right moment. Oh, excellent shot. Hit the 60 TP at the front, but the Super Conqueror took some damage as well at the same time. Very well timed, that one. Now, the standard reload for this Arty is 37.39 seconds, and we can see that Randy has got a reload time 28.85. Okay, he's loaded. Rounds out, looks good. Lands in. Oh, that was the shot. Both Artys fired at the same spot at the same time. Ours is the second shot to arrive, not the first one. You can see that the enemy Arty are focusing on our heavy tanks. They're just behind our current position where we're aiming. So we're going to go for the Super Conch. Line up, rounds out, and just in front of him. But we do get stun assist off this one. Now the Batchat 155-58 has 3 shots, but he's relocating in between his shots now whilst he reloads. STB1 rounds out, looks good, very good, direct hit for 478. Changing position again, very close to a tree there, so okay, now we've got a Badger up there. And this is where those non-stun HE shells might come in very useful against Badgers. Rounds out the STB. Lands just to one side of him. Yes, I was saying about those trees. He's very close to them, but he doesn't knock them down, and that makes them difficult to detect. The enemy tanks are pushing our guys back. We lost one of our mouse up there. Oh, we've lost the other one too now. He was taken out by the Super Conqueror in the end. Okay, going for Badger. Rounds out. Direct hit, 365. We're getting more damage, and we got the rest of stun assist. Okay, we've lost sight of the enemy temporarily, but I think it's more than likely that they'll come into sight again. Yes, they have. The 60 TP trying to use the Rex for cover. That was the batch at 155.58, firing one in. Now, what can we do? Line up and let him walk through the aim point. And, well, it was close enough to get some damage and some stun. And another round goes in, but we didn't see any stun there. I'm wondering if he did actually use the non-stun HE for that last shot, because I think he did use non-stun HE. The Gorilla 15 is making rude comments. Yes, in fact, actually, Randy's pointing out fire where there's no targets in sight. So what do we fire at? If you're not prepared to spot the enemy, then there's not much damage we can do. We can blind fire bushes, but remember, we've only got a limited amount of ammo. Only carry 30 rounds in this Arty. Oh, tree went down up on the first level, so we can fire at that, because more than likely that tree was knocked down to provide cover. And another enemy tank's coming to sight, CS63. Meanwhile, that 60 TP's up there and I'm wandering about backwards and forwards. Seconds away from shooting. Nope, decided not to shoot because there's no clear target. But there is a target down here we can fire at. Let it settle. Don't try and chase the target. Let it settle. Let him walk through the spot. Oh, well, yes, unfortunately, we did get Rescue Bloom just at the wrong moment. And now he's using the ramp. That guy seems to be a glutton for punishment. He's making himself obvious, but of course he's not. He's there for a reason, actually. He's trying to draw fire onto him. The CS63 keeps using the ramp every now and then, popping up onto those bushes. Okay, now we've got a shot. Let's settle. Rounds out. Looks good. Yep, lovely shot. 230. Few more like that, and he won't be in the game. Meanwhile, our teammates are getting ready for a rush to the south. We're only one up on the enemy at the moment. They've got control of the hill, but they can't get off the hill without being spotted. We can put this round in. And we get some stun at least. And we just saw a tracer coming from what looks to be just the other side of the lake. Maybe grid square J0. Fires another one in. No, he's not going to fire. He's holding back, and our guys aren't pushing on the east side or the west side of the map. They are getting hammered by the enemy Arty, though, and that was just a little too far away. Well, I think they're wasting time now. And the scores are 4 even. So if it carries on like this one's going to end up one awful draw. Nobody's doing anything. Nobody's pushing it. CS63 still sitting on the ramp, and now we've lost someone. We lost the Gorilla 15, the guy who was complaining all the time. Manticore's gone in to try and find that CS63 and highlight him so we can get shots on him. No, that's very dangerous, but we can possibly get a shot. We need to aim at the water, not the top, and you've got to tease the aim point over the target so that you can see the aim point changing as the tank moves about. There, he's doing it again. He's popping up into the bushes. This is where you have to aim and look slightly further back. It's focusing on that STB1. If you want to get somebody on the ramp like that, you have to let them move through the line so they interrupt the line. And when they do, that's you know when they're going to interrupt the shell. Oh, that's a good kill. He's taken out the 60 TP. That is a good one, because that guy's been sitting up there for a while. But this, no, he's still focusing on the STB1 rather than the CS63. Rounds out. No, gonna miss. Three minutes to go. I think this is very definitely going to be a draw. Well, the CS63's abandoned the ramp, and he's now returning to his own side. And I suspect that's because they're expecting our guys to make a move towards the west side of the map. That Centurions are still there, trying to guard against any incursion. Meanwhile, their Arty are focusing on those tanks sitting in that corner. So at times like this that you'd think, well, maybe we ought to be doing counter battery. Our guys have gone over the hill and they're now coming down the other side, which means that, yes, they're going to try and get into the enemy rear, but the Manticores suddenly changed course. And we've lost one this time. It was the runner Sorrente. Okay, the STB, the Striv 103B rather has been spotted. And we're loaded. Dialing in and rounds out. This could be a kill. Well, he does go down, but it's not to us. It's actually to the Progetto. Scores still even with 1 minute 20 seconds on the clock. I think this is very definitely going to be a draw. I can't see it changing in time. That was the Heshbarn just taking out the Centurion Action 10. We are one tank up, but I don't think it's going to change the ending. And again, the the FV215B seen, and it looks like he's wandering about. Rounds out. Good shot. 326, and he does go down to the Heshbarn. I think that was just enough damage to tip it over to make it possible for the Heshbarn to get a kill. But we're almost down to 30 seconds, and there's just no way we can win in that time. Even though enemy tanks are now being spotted, one of their Arty was actually in the water. The Object 261. I hope he's not trying to drown himself. That was a good shot. The CS63. Ten seconds. No chance of this being anything but a draw now. Here's the end of battle stats, and I'm afraid that was only a second-class tanker for Randy XX777 in the GWE 100. He managed to get a bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. In fact, he got 12, and he got a Confederate as well for hitting more of the enemy than anyone else on his team, but sadly it was a draw. Let's have a look at the team score. Well, the highest damage in the game turned out to be the STB-1 on the enemy team with 4,403 hit points of damage. Second highest damage was the 60TP, who managed 3,963. And the third highest damage, well, that went to Randy with 3,922. So not much in it between Randy and that 60TP at the end. When it came to kills, though, the high scorer was the Heshbarn. He got 4 kills. 3 kills went to the STB-1. Everyone else got just 1 kill or nothing. And when it came to base XP, we can see the high scorer was that STB-1 again, so I guess he was spotting for his team. He got 616, and I think we can probably see if he was spotting. Yes, 756 spotting assists. And then the next highest after that was the Manticore, 543, and he was spotting. And after that, it was Randy, and of course, he was getting stunned for 488. He fired 24 rounds, so he only had 6 left at the end of that game. Got 6 direct hits on the enemy, no penetrations, but he did get 20 splash. Damage of 3,922, all of it at more than 300 meters. Damage 9 of the enemy, kill 1, so there's the Confederate, and 1,295 hit points of stun assist off 19 stuns. He actually made a loss on this game, 5,042 credits loss, and that's mostly down to the fact that he had to pay for consumables at full price, and of course, because it was basically a draw. So nobody actually got the bonus and nobody did exceptionally well. We can see that he also got 1,202 experience points out of that one as well. But of course, he got the Achievements Award in both columns, simply because, of course, he got a Battle Hero medal in a losing or drawn game. So a very sad one, this one, because it looked to me like both teams basically gave up about a quarter of the way into the game. There was a bit of a ding-dong battle when the enemy tanks were trying to come back off the hill, but they just kind of stopped. They decided, no, they weren't going to do it, and they turned around and went back, and only a couple of their teams, such as that CS63, tried to actually spot for their team to get some damage, but he wasn't getting anywhere either. So in the end, it was a rather disappointing game, and I think even Randy was a bit disappointed in it because, of course, there was no chance for him to shine by shooting at the enemy. If your team won't spot them, there's not much you can do as an Arty. All you can do is then fire at any sign or clue that the enemy is there. We did see a tree fall, but even then, Randy wasn't inclined to actually shoot at that and see if there was anybody sitting behind the fallen tree. Okay, so bit of a disappointment, but maybe he'll be better next time. If you enjoyed this replay, please give it a like, although I suppose most of you won't. Please do subscribe to our channel, leave a little comment down below because it feeds the algorithm, and thank you for watching.